There is a quiet river running through the center of your life. Most people never sit by its banks. They are too busy chasing the noise of the world, collecting the dust of things that will never last. But you came here for more than this. Imagine a man standing at the edge of a vast field, the horizon stretching endlessly before him. In his hand, he holds a seed. He looks at the sky, the soil, the seasons. He tells himself, I will plant it one day when the weather is perfect, when the sun shines just right, when I feel ready. Days pass. Weeks turn into years. The field waits. The seed waits. But he never plants it because life never gave him that mythical day when everything was exactly as he wanted. And so the seed, carrying within it the potential for life, for beauty, for nourishment, turns to dust in his hand. This is how most people live their lives, waiting for a moment of perfection that never comes. We tell ourselves we will start tomorrow. Tomorrow we will chase the dream. Tomorrow we will take care of our health. Tomorrow we will speak what we have held in our hearts for so long. We speak of tomorrow as if it were a guaranteed gift, as if the universe had promised us another sunrise, another breath, another chance. But no such promise was ever made. Life is not a contract where you can delay and postpone without consequences. Life is a river, and it moves whether you are ready or not. If you keep waiting on the shore, the river does not stop for you. It keeps flowing, carrying with it time, opportunities, people you love, moments that will never come back. Perfection is the thief of time. So many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect mood, the perfect resources before they begin. They do not realize that action itself creates clarity. You will not see the whole path before you start walking. The fog only lifts for those who move forward. Every master was once a beginner who began before they felt ready. Every great journey started not with confidence, but with a simple step taken in uncertainty. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you will wait forever. There is a lie that lives deep inside the human mind, a whisper that says, one day when things calm down, one day when you have more money, more time, more courage, more approval. But life is not waiting for you to reach that mythical day. While you wait, your dreams grow older. Your body grows older. The people you love grow older. Life does not pause so you can gather your courage. The clock is ticking whether you are moving or standing still. The truth is, no one feels ready. No one knows exactly what will happen when they take the leap. The difference between those who live fully and those who simply exist is not that the brave feel no fear. It is that they move before the fear paralyzes them. They do not waste their lives rehearsing the future in their minds, trying to predict every outcome before taking the first step. They start, they stumble, they learn, they adapt. They live in motion while others remain frozen, waiting for perfect conditions that never arrive. Life rewards action, not hesitation. The universe opens doors for those who knock, but you must be the one who knocks first. Waiting for the right time is like waiting for the wind to stop before you sail. The wind will never stop. The waves will never be perfectly calm. And yet the sailor learns to move forward anyway, trusting the journey more than the certainty of the destination. Fear sits at the edge of every dream like a silent guardian, daring you to step forward. It speaks in many voices. Sometimes it sounds like logic, warning you of failure, telling you to be careful, to stay where it is safe. Sometimes it sounds like the echo of other people's doubts. The criticism you've heard since childhood, the whispers of those who settled for less and want you to do the same. And sometimes it says nothing at all. It simply grips your chest and freezes your steps until you convince yourself that standing still is better than moving forward. But here is the truth most people never learn. Fear was never meant to be a wall that stops you, only a signpost telling you that what lies ahead matters. We do not feel fear over things that are small and meaningless. We feel fear when the heart recognizes a moment that could change everything. People waste entire lives waiting for the day when fear disappears, as if courage comes wrapped in the absence of trembling hands and racing hearts. But courage is not born in comfort. Courage is moving with the shaking, speaking with the trembling, walking with the doubts still screaming in your ears. If you wait for the fear to vanish before you begin, you will wait until your life runs out of days. Fear does not leave you before the journey. It walks beside you until you prove to it, step by step, that it no longer controls you. The secret that the bold and the fearless understand is that fear loses its power the moment you act. The first step has magic in it. You will notice this when you finally speak the truth you have held in your throat for too long, when you finally take the risk everyone warned you against, when you finally write the first page of the book you were afraid no one would read. At first the fear roars, but with every step it grows smaller, until one day you look back and realize it was never as big as it pretended to be. Every hero you have ever admired, every person who changed the world in ways both small and great, carried fear in their pockets. They did not wait for certainty before stepping into the unknown. They simply refused to let fear have the final word. The writer with the pen in her hand, the speaker standing before the crowd, the parent taking the first step into a new life for their family. All of them moved with the fear still there. The difference is they kept walking when others turned back. What you run from controls you. Fear feeds on avoidance. The longer you delay the conversation, the decision, the dream, the larger the fear grows in your mind. You give it strength by refusing to confront it. But the moment you face it, you see it for what it really is, a story you told yourself about what could go wrong, a shadow on the wall larger than the thing itself. Action cuts fear down to its true size. So you move forward not because you feel ready, not because the trembling stops, but because life asks for movement. The river keeps flowing, and fear stands on its banks, trying to convince you to stay where it is safe and familiar. But nothing alive grows in safety. Nothing beautiful is born in the absence of risk. Fear will always be there, whispering, warning, waiting. The question is not whether you feel it. The question is whether you will carry it with you and step forward anyway. The past is a heavy thing to carry. People drag it behind them like a rusted chain, clinking with old mistakes, broken promises, and words they wish they had never spoken. It is strange how memories can feel heavier than mountains, how a single moment from years ago can sit on the chest like a weight that never lifts. Some try to run from it, thinking distance will set them free. But the past travels light. It fits easily into the corners of the mind and follows wherever you go. Others stare at it endlessly, replaying it like a film, pausing at every scene of regret, as if watching it one more time will rewrite the ending. But the ending never changes. Forgiveness is the only thing that loosens the chain. Not the kind of forgiveness that pretends nothing happened, not the shallow forgiveness spoken through gritted teeth, but the kind that rises from the quiet understanding that we are all broken in some way. People hurt each other because they are carrying their own unhealed wounds. Even you, in your worst moments, have been someone else's storm. Life twists and bends everyone in ways that make mistakes inevitable. Forgiveness is not saying the pain was small, it is saying you will no longer let it control you. The hardest person to forgive is often yourself. We hold ourselves hostage for decisions made when we knew less, when we were younger, when we were acting from fear rather than wisdom. We replay the scenes where we could have spoken, but stayed silent, where we could have stayed but walked away, where we could have loved better, but didn't know how. The mind keeps these moments in a box labeled, "What if?" and opens it often, as if regret will somehow lead to redemption. But there is no peace in self-punishment. Carrying guilt forever does not change the past. It only ruins the present. Some believe that holding on to anger keeps them strong, as if the weight of resentment builds muscle. But anger is acid. It does not burn the one who hurt you, it burns the container that holds it. There are people who have been dead for decades, yet they still live rent-free in the minds of those who cannot let go. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who wronged you. It is a gift to yourself. It is cutting the rope tied to the stone dragging you under. It is choosing to rise rather than drown in memories that cannot be changed. The past cannot be erased, but it can be released. It becomes lighter when you stop demanding it to be different. It softens when you accept that life is not a straight line of perfect choices, but a winding road filled with detours, lessons, and wrong turns that still somehow lead you here. The beauty of life is that every moment arrives brand new. The present does not care about the mistakes you made 10 years ago. It asks only one thing: will you show up fully, or will you stay buried beneath the weight of what can never be undone? Forgiveness opens the door to the present. It says the story is not over yet. It says the pain may have shaped you, but it will not define you. It says you are free to live today without the ghosts of yesterday standing in your way. There are words living inside you right now that the world may never hear. Feelings you have carried for years, sentences you have practiced in your mind 1,000 times, but never allowed to escape your lips. Maybe it is gratitude you never expressed, love you never confessed, an apology left unsaid, or boundaries you never set. We walk through life surrounded by people, yet often remain strangers to each other, because we keep our truest words locked behind fear, pride, or the assumption that there will always be another day. But life is not generous with guarantees. The people you love, the ones who fill your days with warmth and meaning, they will not be here forever. Neither will you. Every moment you delay saying what matters is a moment that may never return. Some people wait because they want the perfect time. They want the atmosphere to be right, the mood to be soft, the courage to feel solid. But the perfect time is an illusion. There is only now, imperfect and fleeting. The words you hold back do not grow easier with time, they grow heavier. You rehearse them in your mind, rewriting them over and over, and yet each day you stay silent. The distance between you and the other person grows wider. One day, the moment passes for good, and all you are left with is the echo of what you wish you had said. Silence is often mistaken for safety. We think staying quiet protects us from rejection, conflict, or vulnerability. But silence builds walls brick by brick, and soon those walls become too high to climb. Relationships wither not only because of what was said in anger, but often because of what was never said at all. The love unspoken, the gratitude withheld, the forgiveness locked inside. It leaves people guessing instead of knowing, doubting instead of trusting. Speaking your truth is not about drama or confrontation. It is about removing the masks that keep you unseen. Fear tells you to wait. Fear says, what if they don't understand? What if they laugh? What if they leave? But fear does not consider the greater risk that you might wake up one day and realize the chance to speak is gone forever. The chair across the table will be empty. The phone will never again ring with their voice on the other end. The door you thought you could always knock on will be closed for good. And all the words you stored up will remain inside you, growing heavier with every passing year. There is power in speaking, even if your voice shakes. To tell someone you love them while they can still hear it. To say, I'm sorry, before pride builds a wall you cannot climb. To express gratitude to the people who carried you through storms while you still have the chance to look them in the eyes. To speak the truth about what you feel, what you need, what you dream, because no one can read the words you keep buried in your heart. You will never control how others respond, but you can control whether you speak at all. The unspoken truth festers. The spoken truth sets you free. The moment you release the words, the weight begins to lift. You stop living in the prison of what if, and step into the light of honesty, connection, and peace that only comes when nothing important remains unsaid. We live in a world that keeps telling us to own more, buy more, collect more, as if the measure of a life well lived is how much we can gather before the clock runs out. People fill their houses, their calendars, their minds with things that shine for a moment and then grow dull in the corner. They spend years chasing possessions, believing that the next purchase will be the one to bring the peace they have been searching for. But the hunger never ends. The closet overflows, the shelves groan under the weight of things once desired, and yet the heart remains empty because things cannot feed the soul. Experiences are different. They do not gather dust or break with time. They live on inside you, shaping the way you see the world, the way you understand yourself, the way you connect with others. A sunrise watched in silence, a meal shared with someone you love, a road traveled with laughter spilling out of the windows. These are the moments that build a life. No one remembers the price tag of the car they drove 20 years ago, but they remember the long summer nights when the windows were down and the music was loud and the future felt wide open. People often postpone experiences, telling themselves they will travel when they retire, they will spend time with family when work slows down, they will chase their dreams when life gets easier. But the years slip by quietly, and suddenly the children are grown, the parents are older, the knees ache, the energy fades. Time is the one thing you cannot buy back, no matter how much wealth you have stored away. The moments you keep postponing eventually vanish, leaving behind only the regret of not having lived when you had the chance. Experiences demand your presence in a way possessions never do. You can own 1,000 objects without truly seeing them, but you cannot watch the northern lights, walk along a beach at midnight, or hold a newborn baby without being fully there. These moments pull you into the present, stripping away the noise of the past and the worries of the future, until only this heartbeat, this breath, this fleeting beauty remains. They teach you that life is not measured in years, but in moments that take your breath away. When people look back at the end of their lives, they rarely talk about the things they owned. They talk about the places they visited, the risks they took, the people they loved, the stories they lived through. They remember the nights filled with conversation, the days filled with adventure, the mornings when they woke up to a view they had never seen before. They remember the laughter that left them breathless, the tears that softened them, the moments when life felt raw and real and unrepeatable. The more you fill your life with experiences, the less you need possessions to feel alive. A single memory of watching the sun rise over a mountain stays with you longer than the shine of any new gadget. A weekend spent laughing with friends leaves a deeper mark than the furniture you bought to impress strangers. Possessions sit in silence, but experiences tell stories long after they are over. They weave together the tapestry of a life that feels full, not because it owned the most, but because it lived the most. Courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, a small pulse in the chest that refuses to be ignored. It is the whisper that says, "Keep going," when the world tells you to stop. It is the hand that reaches out, even when your palms are shaking. It is the choice to step into the unknown, not with certainty, but with trust that you can handle what comes. Most people confuse courage with fearlessness, imagining that brave souls feel nothing at all. But the truth is that courage is never the absence of fear. It is moving forward in spite of it, carrying the trembling heart like a lantern that guides you through darkness. Every day offers opportunities to practice this quiet courage. It appears in moments when you speak your truth, even though your voice shakes. It appears in the decision to leave a situation that no longer serves you, even when comfort tempts you to stay. It appears when you love fully, giving without expectation, risking heartbreak for the possibility of connection. Courage does not always announce itself with fanfare. Often, it is the soft insistence that you will not be ruled by doubt, that you will not shrink from life simply because it demands more than you thought you could give. People avoid courage because it requires risk. To live courageously is to walk on paths where the outcome is uncertain, to open doors where you cannot see what lies behind them. It asks for vulnerability, the willingness to expose your flaws, to confront your fears, to stand in the presence of life as it is rather than as you wish it to be. Many would rather remain in the shadows, safe from the possibility of failure, but safety is a slow death. The soul grows restless, craving the stretch that only challenge can offer. Courage is the bridge between who you are and who you were meant to become. The world rewards those who act despite fear. Each step forward shrinks the shadow that looms behind you. Each choice to move when you would rather stay still builds the strength to keep moving the next time. Courage is not a single heroic act. It is the accumulation of small decisions made consistently over time. It is the refusal to let fear dictate the boundaries of your life. It is showing up again and again, even when the road is uncertain, even when the night is long, even when every voice inside and outside tells you to turn back. Those who live fully understand that courage is also an act of attention. It is noticing what is true and important in your life and responding accordingly. It is asking difficult questions, listening honestly, and making choices that reflect your deepest values rather than the expectations of others. Courage is not reckless. It is deliberate, intentional, and aware. It is the discipline to choose action over hesitation, engagement over apathy, love over fear. It asks for presence, not just in moments of triumph, but in the mundane, in the everyday decisions that shape a life. To cultivate courage is to cultivate freedom. Fear confines you, limits you, draws invisible lines around your potential. Courage tears those lines down, even if only a little at a time. Each decision to face discomfort, to speak your truth, to take a step into uncertainty expands the territory of what is possible. Life does not demand that you be fearless. It demands that you be willing to try, to risk, to live with your heart open. Courage is the key that unlocks the doors the world insists are locked. And so, when the sun dips below the horizon and the days you thought were endless begin to slip quietly into memory, remember this: life does not wait. Every heartbeat is an invitation to step fully into your own story, to speak the words that matter, to move despite the fear, to release the weight of what has been, and to embrace the beauty of what can be. Do not measure your days by the possessions you acquire or the comfort you cling to, but by the moments you lived with courage, love, and presence. To live fully and fearlessly is not to deny the storms or the shadows that walk beside you. It is to hold them gently while walking forward, to let each step be proof that fear does not define you, and that regret does not own you. The river of your life is flowing now. It cannot be paused, rewound, or rehearsed. What remains is the choice to rise with it, to let your heart lead you, and to embrace the life that waits for no one. This is the secret: breathe deeply, move boldly, love openly, and live each day as though it were both your first and your last. In the end, the measure of your life will not be in what you avoided, but in how fully you dare to live.